so that the system, the Skype for Business system, knows that you're logged into another location. I never use this, okay? So it's here, but you know, I just leave this, and it doesn't affect anything that has to do with how you're using the Skype client or how you're using any other programs. Okay, so here I have, the next one is contacts list. This is how you can display your contacts. Again, you have choices. I'm not going to go through every one of the choices, but you should, in terms of looking at what information, test it out, see if it works for you, and if it does, change it. If it doesn't, leave it the same. Status. So this is what I was talking to you about a little bit ago, about showing you as inactive when your computer has been idle for this many minutes. So the default is 5. I've changed this to 10. I can make it 11, 9. And here, this will, after 9 minutes, then it will show me as away after another 7 minutes. So after 9 minutes, it shows me as inactive. After another 7 minutes, it shows me as away. Basically, this is just not touching your computer keyboard. Anybody that touches it or you touch it, it automatically resets. And here you have other choices as well. If you, you know, want to look at them, that's fine, and change them at will. Your picture is your picture. This is an older picture that I have of me, but that's fine. So you can use a picture that your organization gives you, or one that you want to choose, as long as it's appropriate. Phones you don't have to worry about because you're not using your Skype for Business client as a PC. Alerts, this basically, you know, tell me when somebody adds me to his or her contact. So that's an alert. You'll be given a sound or something like that. Again, I really don't you know, worry about all of these alerts, but again, some of you may be interested in working with this and changing it. It's up to you. IM, this shows you that you have some IM capabilities. I think this is important. Check spelling as I type. You can hide pictures. In any case, again, these are your, you know, choices. Ringtones and sounds, these are the sounds if somebody calls you or if you have an IM that's coming in, you would be alerted if you choose a sound. Audio device is, this is where I showed you on the client on the bottom left. This is the same information, only it gives you a little bit more information that you have here. And if I click the down arrow, it shows me that I have my primary device set is a headset. Okay. Video device. So video, if you are using video on your laptop, you can click video, and here, hello everyone, this is me. I added here a USB webcam video HD device. I can take this off if I want to, and basically I could, you know, move it around. If I wanted to show something to somebody, I could do that. So this is portable. So you are able to have a portable USB video device, and if you have a need for it in doing whatever you need to do. File saving, if somebody transfers a file to you in an IM window, this is where that file would be received, in your documents, in my received files. Question was asked last time, how large of a file can you send? I don't exactly know. I mean, I've sent a 1 gigabyte file and it was received, but again, it may be according to your organization's limits that that they put on this. So this is something that IT would have to respond to. Recording, you can record a presentation. So when you record a presentation, it will be saved in your videos, in your users folder on your Windows Explorer under the link recordings folder, And basically, when you see the video there, you have other options, and we'll go through that towards the end. The last one is Skype meetings. The only thing that I really suggest that you check in Skype meetings is before you join a meeting, ask me which audio device you want to use. The reason that I want you to check this is that you have a choice when this is checked that you can join using the PC mic and speakers or a headset that you have added to your PC, or you can join a call with the meeting calling you, or you don't have to join using audio at all using this system because you've joined by dialing into the bridge number. So I suggest you have this here just so that you have a choice when you are joining a meeting. Okay, if I wanted to, excuse me, save any of these options that I've changed, I would click OK. Right now I'm going to click cancel because I'm not saving anything. So again, this is important that you go through your Skype client options. And again, the way you get there is by the little gear all the way to the right. You have tools, and the bottom of tools is options. Okay, search bar is really very powerful. I'm sure everybody has used this, or if you haven't, you should definitely try it. This is really a search forward bar, meaning that as soon as you start typing in somebody's name, or you start typing in any characters, the system starts to search for those characters that you typed in. So here I typed in Jonathan. Actually, as I start typing in Jon, it starts looking for anything that's Jon. But if I typed in Jonathan, comes up with 2. I chose Jonathan Thacker, and basically I added him as a contact. So just be aware that this search bar is very powerful. It searches for people in your organization, your entire organization, via Active Directory, and it also searches your personal Outlook contacts. Okay, so if you're looking for a phone number of somebody and you have placed that phone number in Outlook as a contact, you can search for it here, and it's sort of like a very fast Rolodex. The number will come up. Most people, though, use their cell phones to store numbers, so again, this could be redundant, but you have that capability. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's go to groups, contacts, and instant messaging. So what we're going to cover is creating a new group and adding a contact to that group, understand the methods to contact a person, what it means to have the different privacy relationships, IMing a contact or a group of contacts, and then opening up somebody's Outlook contact information. So what we have here in the Skype client, we have groups. All the way to the right of groups, we have a little person here, which is, when we hover over it, it's highlighted in blue. I'll just bring this up right here. It's highlighted in blue, and it says add a contact, create a group, and customize the contacts list. So what I would do is come here to create a group, a new group. As soon as I click that on my client, it opens up with new group on a new bar, and that's how groups are stored in a bar. And then I can just type right over this. I don't have to do anything other than just start typing, and it changes the name of new group, and I've added a group called Skype Test Group. So just to see how this works, I come here, create a new group, shows me that I have a new group, and this is Skype Group 2. And now I have Skype Group 2, and I have nobody in this group. I created one this morning Skype test group. Let's say I don't like this group. I could right click in it and I can rename the group or delete the group. And now I've deleted that group. So in any case, it's very easy once you have a group to add people to that group or to delete the groups. Adding a contact. Okay, so what I did before was, in terms of finding Jonathan, I started to type his name and then I said Jonathan. I wanted to narrow it down, so I put Jonathan T. It came up with a match, showed me his contact information here in terms of showing his name here. Says that he was offline and no message here. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to add him to that new group that I created a week ago. So I right-clicked in his name. I come down here where it says Add to Contacts List. I created a group called Mima Contacts. I clicked on it, and then he appeared in that group. That's how simple it is to add somebody into a group. Find them, right-click on their picture, go to Add to Contacts, find the group you want to add them to, click that group, and they're in that group. By the way, you can have as many people in as many groups as you want to. It's really up to you. There's no limit, and you could you could have two different groups with multiple people for different purposes, in those different named groups. Okay, let's look at privacy relationships. So if I right-click on Jonathan's name, but here I have me, my alternate identity, I right-click on my picture, I come down to change privacy relationships, and all this does is that this brings up all the different relationship groups that I have under relationships over here. So I'm an external contact. If I wanted to change me to a friend and family, I could do that by just clicking here. One group that is important to note is a work group. So if you put yourself in Do Not Disturb, but you want people to contact you when you are in Do Not Disturb, you can actually put them into this work group. So if you have a group of people that no matter what status you're in, especially Do Not Disturb, you put them in this work group, you click this here, it becomes checked for this person or the group of people, and they will all be able to contact you when you are in Do Not Disturb mode. So this is why you should look at the privacy relationships if you need to. You can also block contacts, which I don't recommend doing, but you can if you want to. Okay, let's look at the two different ways that you can contact somebody using the Skype client. It's really very easy. First thing that you do is you find the contact that you have. You can hover over that contact, and then you get certain icons that come up. First icon is instant message. This is a phone icon. This is video. This is contact card information, and then you have more options. However, if you want to contact somebody a different way, instead of hovering and clicking one of these icons here, you can right-click in their picture, and then you get the full menu of items that you have available to you as well. So I just want to, again, illustrate here. Let me just show you here. I have S Hesney here as a contact. I can right-click, and I have all of these options here. Just wanted to show you this. If I hover and I click these three dots always means more options. Then I have the ability to do a lot of the same capability that I had when I was right-clicking. Send an email message, schedule a meeting, copy, remove, etc. So basically, again, it's your choice to use which one you want to use. Okay, instant messaging a contact. And I just want to do something here live. I want to sign into another computer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to IM myself here, and basically this is what happens when you get an IM. I'm getting it from another person. I'm going to reply, and basically this IM comes up, and I can say hi, and this is an outside contact, okay? That has another Skype user ID, but from a different system. However, you can contact people that have different Skype. If somebody has Skype on in their company, you can, if you're, and I'm pretty sure your company allows, because I'm doing this right now, you can contact them using Skype. Okay, you can IM them, you can, call them if you wanted to, and basically I'm just showing you how this works right now. Okay, so that is IMing a contact. You can IM a group. Okay, how do you IM a group? Basically, you come to the group name over here, Mima Contacts. In the group name, you right-click in the group name, and then you have these options here that come up. That's the only way that you can get all of these different options, is to right-click in the group name. And then I can send an IM, start a conference call, start a video conference call, etc. When I click send an IM, it basically comes up with all of the people that are in this group as part of this IM. Okay, I type in a message here, and everybody in this group gets that message. So just to, again, let me close this. I'll come here, I'll right click here, send an IM, opens up an IM window to everybody in this group, and then I can just type in here. I wanted to show you this also, though, is that if you are in a group IM and you really have to discuss something with all the people in this group IM because it becomes too cumbersome to start typing, you can just click here and it will call everybody and start a conference call. So from a group IM, you could start a conference call just by clicking in on the bottom of this IM, the call window, the call icon. Okay. And this is what everything, most of the things I'm talking about, by the way, will be in the presentation, which you will get a copy of. Okay, you also can, if you want to contact people that are in different groups, you find a person in the group, you'll highlight that person, and then you go to another group, and the way that you highlight somebody else in another group is by pressing Control down on your PC, and then you click, and then both of them are highlighted. You press Control and click the third one, and same thing. Then you right click, and an IM window comes open with all of the different participants that you've selected from different groups. So again, you're not limited to just one way of doing something. Everybody doesn't have to be in a group. You could have people in different groups. Okay, you also can have multiple IM sessions running simultaneously. So in this picture here, I have a group IM going with certain people, and then I have another single IM going with one person. So again, they're stacked underneath one another on the left-hand side of the IMs. As when you click the other IM, you then get put into that IM window. So just be aware regarding use of multiple IMs. I would only have maximum 3 IMs going at the same time, because otherwise you may get confused and you may type something in one that you wouldn't want to type in and have somebody else see. It could be cumbersome. However, if you feel that you can handle it, you could have up to 10 IMs or more. Doesn't really, there's no limit to the IMs, I believe. I don't think, it may be 50 or 60, but I think that's too many for anybody anyway. Okay, let's go now to conference meetings and calls. Okay, so a conference meeting is really, and a conference call, are kind of like one and the same. A conference meeting is where people, first start a conference telephone joint, conversation where everybody joins in that conversation. Where it becomes kind of like a meeting is when you want to present something to other participants that are in that meeting. So the process and everything is still the same. However, there are certain protocols and there are certain icons that we will go through, and there's certain key definitions that you should know about whenever you have one of these meetings or calls. So the topics are the meeting key terms and definitions, how to schedule a conference meeting, how to join a meeting, different ways to join, create an unscheduled meeting. You could just, in a moment, you can create a conference meeting and invite people in. We'll go through the definitions and functions of them, and then we'll go through sharing your desktop, PowerPoint, and other programs that you want to share to other people in this meeting. You could share multiple programs if you want to in a conference meeting. Lastly, you can record any of these meetings. So if you're giving a presentation and you want to be able to record that presentation, it records everything. It records your presentation, it records your audio, it records any IMs that are in the meeting, it records anybody else who speaks in that meeting or takes control of that meeting. So it's pretty comprehensive in terms of what it can do, and then you can publish them if you want to, or use it for reference for other people. Okay, so let's look at the key terms that you have. You have an organizer, and that's the one person who creates or schedules the conference call, and normally that's done through Outlook. That is the way that it is done through Outlook. That organizer is also a presenter by definition, okay? However, you can have multiple presenters in your meeting. So what is a presenter? A presenter can control the conference call. So if you have multiple presenters there, just understand that anybody who's a presenter can also control that conference call. And if you think you're in total control and they want to show something that's on their PC, they may take control from you. So without your permission, so just be aware of that. An attendee is a guest, okay? So normally the way that I like to do things is I'm the organizer and presenter. I invite everybody in as attendees, and then I can elevate a person to a presenter, or I can demote them to an attendee at any point in time. Every meeting also has a conference ID number. This is a dedicated number for each meeting. Okay, so you will not have a general conference ID number that you can use for multiple meetings. Each meeting that you create has an assigned number to that meeting, and it makes it much more secure because you know that that conference number, once that conference ends, you can't use that conference ID to enter into another meeting. There are some companies that have general conference ID numbers along with a number that changes all the time. However, if somebody is smart enough, they can dial the conference number they can join on their PC to a previous meeting, and then they could have other people join without the organizer. So it's you don't have to worry about that though. Everybody also has a PIN number. So that's a secure 5-digit number that you use when you are creating a dial-in conference. Okay, so this allows the dial-in conference meeting to be organized by a person from your organization that has specific identification and allows them to create that meeting. Lastly, we have Skype meeting options, which determine how people join your meeting. It looks, you know, some of this looks a little bit complicated, but it's really not. And once you start using these meetings, it becomes very routine. Okay, so to schedule a meeting, basically you come to Outlook, you go to your calendar, you come to new Skype meeting, you click it, and once you click it, it comes up with a regular meeting request in terms of 2, you put in a subject. The location, though, tells you it's a Skype meeting, and you also have the ability here to see that people will be joining. This actually becomes a URL, okay, that they click to join this meeting. Let me just come here to, let me come to a calendar. Okay, so here's my calendar. I come to new Skype meeting, and here I have a new Skype meeting, and it populates it with the join Skype meeting URL. I also have a phone number here, and this is the unique access code that people who join using the web do not have to enter, but anybody who joins via telephone must enter this number followed by the hash or #. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. Okay. Next to the Skype meeting, you have a meeting options tab, okay? This tab is used to determine how people will enter your meeting, okay? So once you set the options, and I'll go through the options live, you can set it to remember for all future meetings, or you can just set it for this specific meeting. Okay, so let me come here. This is the meeting options tab. So when I click on this, what this means is how people will enter this meeting. So if I have anyone can enter the meeting without waiting in the lobby, that's one of the options that I have. If I have only me, the organizer, to enter this meeting, that means that anybody else who clicks on that URL will get a message, you are waiting in the lobby, you have to be admitted to the meeting. So most of the time I have anyone, okay, because you're sending out an invitation to people who are joining your meeting, you know who these people are. Random person is not going to get that URL to join the meeting. So I really don't have anybody waiting in the lobby most of the time. You also have here, you can announce when people enter or leave. This becomes very annoying because everybody hears, oh, Joe Smith has entered the meeting. John Adams has left the meeting. Samantha has joined the meeting. Okay, so you don't want to do that either. Okay, so just be aware of these choices. Excuse me. You also have a choice as to who is a presenter. So you could have anyone from your organization, you could have anyone, only me, or people I choose. So the rule of thumb here is that I normally have only me, the organizer, be the presenter when I start the meeting. The reason is, again, is that everybody doesn't have to control the meeting, they are all attendees. People in your organization, if you want to make them presenters, you can do that as well. There's no problem with doing that. Just understand the purpose of the meeting and who's a presenter and why they're there. It really works very well when you have two people who are presenting to a whole group. Both of them are presenters and all the rest are attendees. And you can also limit participation by disabling IM when they come in. You can mute them all when they come in, and you can block their videos when they come in. You could also do that in the meeting itself. So just understand these meeting options are to be set up. You can, if you want to remember these settings for all future meetings, you click remember settings. If you just want it for this meeting, you say okay. So I'm going to click remember settings for all future meetings. And basically when I come back here to click it, these are the choices that are there. Okay. I'm not going to go through these set Skype meeting options. This will be as part of the documentation, and you could read this when at your leisure. Okay, you also have in your organization, you have specific location conference rooms that can be invited to a meeting, and they will be scheduled once you schedule that conference room. It will be scheduled and nobody else will be able to use that conference room for that time. Most of the time in these conference rooms, and here you have a small conference room or a large conference room, depending upon the size of people that you have. I don't know how large or small these conference rooms are. However, most of the time they have a link, or it's called a Skype for Business room system. And it's set up in the room, and that becomes part of the meeting. So when people are sitting in the conference room, they are joined and they can see what's going on, as well as the participants that join remotely. Everybody sees the same items that are being presented on the video conference room setting. Okay. So just understand, when you're in that type of room, some rooms have cameras in them that basically can see all the people, participants in that room, and the participants would be able to see, if everybody's video is turned on, they'd be able to see all the participants remotely when they are speaking. Okay, so just remember you can reserve. Let me just come here. Come here to rooms, you click rooms, and here you can, find a room and you click room, and then this becomes one of the participants that you are inviting to this meeting. Okay, do I want to update? No. Okay, so just remember that this would be here and they would be invited to the room, and then whenever you schedule this, if it can be scheduled at that time, you'll be notified that that room is scheduled for you. Okay, in every meeting as well, you have the ability to send reminders out. Normally the default is 15 minutes. People get a little box here and it says, okay, 15 minutes, the meeting will start. It normally works in 5-minute increments until the start of the meeting time. When it starts, you can click join online. You could also dismiss that if you want to. You can just click dismiss, and you can go to the URL in the email that you've gotten, or if you have your Skype client, you can join using your Skype client under meetings. Okay. What I spoke about before in terms of a window popping up before you actually join the meeting, what would happen is that this join meeting audio pops up before you join, and it's a little faint here. I'll go through this. You'll see it a little bit clearer when I actually create a meeting. But basically, this is using a Skype for Business full audio and video experience, which is checked as a default. You can also click call me at, and basically you can be online and it can call you at a specific number. Could be a cell phone, could be a home number, as long as it's a direct dial number. And you could also say don't join audio because you've already joined using the bridge number. So just be aware of the 3 options that you have here. Okay, anybody can also schedule a meet now. It's called a meet now, which means that you are creating an ad hoc conference call, and the only participant in that is you. This is really very, very, very helpful when you are learning how to use and create presentations and how to work with the Skype for Business meeting, conference meetings that you have. I will show you how to do this in a minute, but basically I would suggest that before you actually create a meeting, you come to Meet Now. Over here, it's under the gear, and you practice with this and you play with this to make sure you understand the icons and what they do for you. Okay. You can also join any meeting just using a phone. You dial the number, you put in the conference ID, and telephone callers will be identified in the meeting as attendees. So anybody can just dial a phone number, put in the conference ID followed by the hash or pound sign, and they'll be entered into that meeting. You can schedule telephone-only conference calls, okay, if you want to. You don't have to use the Skype URL. So if I have a meeting here and I want to create this as a telephone only, I could just take this meeting URL, delete it, and everybody will have to join by phone. And this is the phone number, and this is the access code. So you can create and schedule telephone only meetings if you want to. And again, everybody would have to dial the number and put in the conference ID. The organizer enters their PIN if they're calling from a phone, and that's how they start the meeting because they are the organizer of that meeting. An unscheduled ad hoc telephone conference call, the only thing that is different that's here is that, again, you have to have an ID, a conference ID must be created. And then you must have a dedicated PIN, which everybody has. By the way, just let me show you this. I haven't really showed this to other groups, but I think I should show you this right now. You have conference tools here. When you come to tools, you have a dial-in conference settings, okay? This allows you to find your PIN. So if I click dial, it opens up a web page, and basically I have to put in my ID. I sign in, and it should take me directly to dial-in conference settings, and here's the PIN. Now, I don't know what this PIN is here because it's all blacked out. So if I wanted to reset my PIN, I could just set reset PIN, and basically it will reset the PIN, and this becomes my PIN that I have. So that's the way that you reset a dial-in conferencing PIN if you don't know your PIN. Okay? Okay, let's look at the topics of sharing your content. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually create a Meet Now, and then we'll go through the conference meeting icons and their associated actions. Then we'll share the desktop, share a PowerPoint, share a window. We probably won't collaborate on any document because that takes us out of the system right now, but I'll show you how to do most of all of these things. Okay, so let's come here to our client, come to the little gear, come to Meet Now, and here is where this is the Join Meeting Audio little pop-up box. I am going to use Skype for Business full audio and video, and I'll say okay, but what I'm going to do is I will mute myself right away. So this is what the meeting window looks like. This is a conference meeting window. I suggest that everybody really do this before you schedule any meetings that you want to hold. And let's start over here on the top here. Let's start with what these icons mean. They are also in the presentation, but I'll show it to you live. So this shows that I have one participant. This is a toggle switch. I'm going to open a participant pane. I click it here, and basically I have here the participants right now, which is only me. Okay, so this, again, it's a toggle switch. I toggle it on and I toggle it off, and I see the window here. At the bottom of this window that's opened up, I can invite more people. I click here to invite more people, and it gives me a search bar that I could find somebody. It populates it with people that are in my Skype client already, but I could type anybody in my organization and then click OK, and they will be invited to the meeting. I'm not going to do this at this point in time. Next item here is participant actions. So during the meeting, I can click participant actions. If I hear somebody is making too much noise, I can just click here and mute the entire audience. If I want to disable meeting IMs for everybody so that they can't IM one another, I put in no meeting IM. I can also block attendees' videos, and I can hide the names, and I can make everyone an attendee. Just by in the meeting clicking this, and everybody would be an attendee because I'm the organizer here. If I want to invite somebody who's not in my organization, so I can't invite them here because they're not in my organization, I can invite by email by clicking here, and it opens up an Outlook email invitation. So again, just let me stress, the person that you're emailing does not have to be in your organization. They don't have to have ever seen Skype for Business meetings. They may not ever know of it. All they're going to do is they're going to get an invitation, and you could say, please click the URL. They will click the URL, and if they want to, they can join by phone, or they can use their PC, mic and speakers, and they are in the meeting just like I am in the meeting here. Okay, I will, and what it happens is when they get emailed, they are asked to download an app, which takes all of about 15 seconds, and then they put in their first name, last name, and then they appear in the meeting here as if they were part of your organization. Okay, so what I want to do right now, hold on one second. Okay, I am going to, another way to have people join your meeting, by the way, if you want to, is you can find the contact and you can click on the contact and drag them in to the meeting. They will be sent an invitation, and if they say okay, they are now in, hold on one second, they're in the meeting as well. Okay, so, and this person has come in as a presenter. So this is my alternate identity here that I have another Skype client, my own personal one. So basically I have two people in this meeting right now. If I click on this person's, right click on the person's name, I can unmute them. You can see here that they are muted. I can remove them from the meeting. I can make them an attendee by just clicking here, make them an attendee. Okay, so I just want to show you how easy it is to bring people into a meeting that are already in your contacts list, or anybody in your organization. You could search for them and then just say okay, and they will be sent an invitation to join this meeting. This icon down here, this is the IM icon. I click this IM icon, and basically I can type in an IM, and everybody in this meeting gets this IM. If I want to close the IM window, I can just simply toggle it closed. Okay, so basically you are able to have IM open, or you can close the IM window. This would allow me to show myself on video on this call. If I click this, it will say start your video. And again, if you want to have people have their videos on, make sure you have a good connection. Okay, you have to, you should test this out as well, just to make sure if you have 3 or 4 or 5 people on, that the video quality is good. This is the mute or unmute. Here's where we have shareable content. And this icon here, the hang up icon, if I click the hang up icon and I am in this meeting, even though I'm the organizer of this meeting, I am not closing this meeting. I am not ending this meeting. So if, I'll show you what happens. If I click hang up, it says, okay, do you want to rejoin? I can rejoin. I could have it call me at another number. Okay, so I can rejoin the meeting, and now I am back in the meeting. So hold on. Let me. Okay. I have to mute. I'm getting an echo here. Let me just, I have to remove this person from this. Okay. Because my headset was giving me issues. So again, sometimes you just have to check this and make sure that it's working properly for what you want to do. Here are call controls. If I want to change devices from here, I can click here and go. If I have another device, I can use another device. I could put the call on hold. I really can't use this to dial or do anything or transfer this call. I have more options here. If I click the 3 dots, you always have more options, and we'll go through these as well also in terms of recording, manage your recordings, end the meeting, etc. Up here is also invite more people. So if this is closed here, but I still want to invite more people, I can click this icon here and it performs the same function as I did when I had the participant window open. And this is the timing. Now, I just want everybody to see that this window, okay, is not the full, it's not the full window of my PC. I have other information here that you could see. I would tell everybody when they are joining the meeting to maximize this window by clicking the maximize, and now everything that you are going to present would be in that meeting. Okay, I'm going to minimize it right now though, and here you can actually go full screen if you want to, but I normally don't like to use full screen because or tell users to use full screen, because if they have to get out of it for any reason, they have to hit escape, and that becomes an issue. So more people understand maximize and minimize the window. Okay, let me. Okay, I'm going to see if I can. Okay. So I have my 2 people in the meeting here. And now what I want to be able to do is I want to share some content. Okay. So let me just go back to my presentation and we'll move this away. And as I click away from it, the window becomes minimized and it's very small. So I'm going to come back to this training topics here, and we'll just quickly go through the meeting icons and associated actions. So this is what I was talking about before. You'll have a record of all of this here, all of these icons here. Invite a person to the meeting, we went through that. We went through 2 participants and now in the meeting. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you actually, which is important when you are conducting a presentation. So I'm conducting a presentation right now, and basically the only thing that everybody is seeing in this presentation are the people that are in this meeting. I'm not sharing any content, so all we see, if there were multiple people, you'd just have all of their pictures over here. However, what you may want to do is you may want to pop out this video gallery of all the presenters. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you have another monitor, you may want to put the participants on that monitor, I can click this little arrow here, and it actually creates another window with all the participants, and then I can move this window to the other monitor. Okay, so it makes sense to do that if you have a dual monitor. If you don't have a dual monitor, let me just show you this. And now I'm still in this meeting here, but I still want to get rid of seeing the participants here. What I would do is I would click this little arrow here, and then I would come to minimize it, and it minimizes it on your screen, okay, on your taskbar. And it's down here on your taskbar, and you could always bring those participants back in whenever you want to. But what I have here is now I have just the ability to present, okay? So I'm going to come to my present icon here in this window, which I don't see the participants right now. And what I will do is I will click Share Contents. And let's say I want to share a window. Okay, I click to share a window. A window is a program that has to have been opened already on your desktop. Okay, so that's what it means when you're sharing a window. So that window has to be open, and then you can share it. So if I want to share, let's say this, I thought I had another document opened. Okay, let me share this Excel. Share this Excel window, and this is a test Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, okay, is I am sharing this spreadsheet, and I can actually type in this spreadsheet here if I want to. I could also give control to somebody else who's in the meeting. I have all the participants here, and if I give control to them, they could actually change what's in the spreadsheet. So I can actually collaborate with multiple people. The only problem is you can only have one person that has control at a time, which for the most part is okay, but you know, you should just understand the limitations here of what I'm doing. So I don't want to give control, but now I want to come back to my presentation. I want to come back, and I go back to my taskbar, and I have here this window that's opened. Okay, so now if I want to open up another presentation that I have, let's say I want to open up a PowerPoint as well, I can click here. I can say, okay, share a PowerPoint file, and it comes up here, and I'll bring in the same PowerPoint presentation that I'm giving to everybody here. I find it, I click open. And basically what's going to happen now is that I'm uploading this presentation, and this will now appear here in the presentation window. Okay, so I have two presentations that I have. I have an Excel spreadsheet presentation that's here, and I have this PowerPoint presentation that's here. If I want to make this full screen and have everybody see this, this is what I do right now. And everybody is just seeing this. Now, with the PowerPoint presentation, I can annotate it by clicking here, this annotation tool. And I can come here and I could say, okay, I want to highlight something. I can basically highlight it if I wanted to. Yellow is not really a great color. I should have done red. And here I'm highlighting something. I also have the ability to, in a PowerPoint presentation, to see all the thumbnails of the different slides. I can go here to this slide, I can just go there, go to any slide I want randomly. And I also have the ability here to annotate this slide here, okay? That's not a good annotation tool. I'll use the same annotation tool. Okay, so you have the ability as you're going through the presentation to annotate the slides as well. One other thing that you have is the ability to go back and forth between the Excel spreadsheet and the PowerPoint presentation. So if I click the share content icon at the bottom, it says manage content, and it shows me that I have two views that I'm looking at. One is the PowerPoint presentation, the other is the Excel spreadsheet. So if I click it, it shows me that here are the two contents that I have. I'm working right now on the PowerPoint presentation. I want to go back to the Excel spreadsheet. I click that here, I close it, and now it's going to load the Excel spreadsheet into this window. Okay, so again, you have the availability of not only working with one program, but multiple programs. Something else I want to show you. You have something, an item here called More. I can do a whiteboard as well. I can click a whiteboard here, and it opens up a whiteboard. And on this whiteboard, I can click here. Everybody can click here, and I could also put a, if I wanted to, I can add a picture here. Come to pictures. I had a beer tech going on once, and basically you can put this in the whiteboard as well. So now when I come back down, I have three contents that I'm working with. I click this here, and it shows I have an Excel spreadsheet, I have a whiteboard, and I have my PowerPoint presentation. So again, you have the ability to work with as many presentations as you want without getting too confused. You can go back and forth between one and the other. Anytime I want to stop sharing, I just click stop sharing. Oh, I have to close this first, and I stop sharing, and I'm going to stop sharing. And what I will now do is I will come back to my the participants, because I'm not sharing anymore. I'm not sharing my desktop, and now I will add the participants into the conference call again. Okay, so you have lots of capability in terms of what you want to share and what you want to have open. Now, by the way, this spreadsheet that was open, it actually opens the document on my desktop and brings it into the presentation, and it lets me edit it. If I want to save it, I would click save, but here I say don't save, so I'm not saving it. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. I got a little, not sidetracked, but I started to work with the presentation in terms of how I felt that you would be working with the presentation without just going through my slides. But let's go through the slides again. Okay, we have attendees can join by telephone. If they join by telephone, and they won't be able to see anything that's going on, but this would be a conference call, not a web demonstration. But you see their phone numbers that is here. Again, we did the presenter participant actions that you have here by opening up this window here, and here are your actions. Presenter options for a participant. Again, we can unmute somebody, we can remove them from the meeting, make them an attendee. You can pin them to the gallery. I don't know why you would want to pin them to a gallery, but basically you have this ability here when you are the presenter to be able to hover over our participant. Instant messaging all the participants, that's this icon down here. Share content icon, again, the share content icon allows you to share your desktop. I didn't share my desktop basically. I was just sharing an Excel spreadsheet and a PowerPoint presentation, and we did a whiteboard. There's no reason to share your desktop unless you have something on your desktop that you want people to see, and then they could see everything on your desktop. So just be aware that you can do that. If you share your desktop, it lets you know everybody will see everything. And same concept is you can give control to somebody. If you're sharing your desktop, you can give control to somebody to control your desktop. So if you're having a problem with your PC and somebody knows how to fix it, you can go into a a Skype client, a Skype meeting, and if this technician knows how to change something on your PC, you could share your desktop and they'll have control of your desktop. So it can actually be used as a tool for IT help desk. That's sharing your desktop. Present options when presenting. Again, you have the ability to give control. Also, an attendee or anybody can request control. They have the ability on their screen. They can come up here and it will say request control, and you can let people know if they want to request control in a meeting, they can request control. You always have, the presenter always has the ability to take back control at any point in time. Sharing a window, again, that window must be open on your desktop, or the program must already be opened. And this is what we did. We shared a spreadsheet. Here's giving control to another person, sharing a PowerPoint presentation. Again, we have all of the different icons that you have here on the bottom, which is thumbnails, and then you have the annotation icons here, which you can use. What I suggest that you do is play with this in terms of creating a meet now, invite somebody if you want to, and then go through a presentation that you're looking to give somebody in a meeting. Again, we went through manage presentable content here in terms of how many items that you're showing. Here there was a Q&A, a poll, and here was a PowerPoint. So you could have different presentations open at the same time. The present icon. Also, in the present icon here, okay, if you want to click here and you want to add an attachment, I can click add an attachment. I find a file that I want to add. Again, I don't think I'd have any issue with a document that's up to 1 gigabyte. I just find the document and basically I just click it, and it then becomes added to the window, and anybody that wants to pull that document down would be able to download that document. Okay, this is where it comes to. It comes to actually a different window, and it says content, and you have the ability to download it. You can create a poll if you want to. Again, you can create a poll before the meeting, and then you issue the poll. You go to polls and you actually issue the poll, and you can ask people questions in terms of what their experience is for the presentation that you are going to be given. And whiteboard, which is what we did as well. Okay. So now what we have is the more options icon here. Okay, so let me bring up this. And by the way, when you see that you have this as a small window, the only way that you can get to it appear as a larger window is to come to your taskbar, hover over Skype for Business, and then click the larger window, and it opens up the larger window. So here I have more options. If I want to start recording this meeting, I would click Start Recording, and it says recording has started, and it lets everybody know in this presentation that recording has started. Here I have the ability to pause it, or I can stop it. So if I want to stop the recording, I just click Stop, and it tells you recording has stopped. Okay. So what I want to do now is, let's say I want to manage my recordings. Let's say I recorded everything, and it shows me here that it's processing this recording that I just did. When it's completed, it will say completed, and then I could always play this, and it will play. I can also publish this, and basically I could publish it to OneDrive or to another place where I want to publish this recording. I'm not going to do that right now. Here I can change my IM text display. I can change the font. I also have meeting entry info. So if I click this, the Meet Now that I have, basically it shows me all this information. Remember what I emailed to that person? This is what the meeting entry information is. So if I ever want to find this meeting entry info and somebody wants to call in, I could just come here to these three dots, click meeting entry info, give them the phone number and the conference ID, and they'll be able to join the meeting as well. Or I could take this, I can copy all this information, and I could put it into an email, although why would I do that when I can email a participant? And then the Skype meeting options, by the way, during the meeting, I can click Skype meeting options, and here I can change these options on the fly if I want to. Okay, so basically it allows you to, if you want to change them for any reason, you started the meeting and you want to change it, you have your Skype meeting options right here in the meeting. And the last thing I want to show you is this is how you end a meeting. When you click end the meeting, you click end the meeting. This will end the meeting for everyone, and nobody will be able to get back into this meeting again because this meeting is now closed and that ID has disappeared. So I say OK, and this was gone. You don't have to answer this. Okay, that's in Microsoft message that they like to get. Okay, so it tells me that it's still processing the recording even though I recorded it for 2 seconds. Okay, that's the meeting entry info. We went through the Skype for Business recording. The managed recordings, I showed you where the managed recordings are. And ending the meeting for all the participants. Okay, it says my recording is now available. If I wanted to play that back, I could play that back. Okay, let's review Skype for Business calling. There's not a lot of information here, but in any case, you may want to use your PC to call somebody as a Skype call. So instead of using your telephone on your desk, you can make a Skype call, you can make a video call. I'll show you the call window controls and minimizing the call window. So what we do is you type the name of a person in your organization. You can't really contact somebody in your Outlook contacts, but you can find somebody if you wanted to. When you find somebody, you hover over their picture or you right click, and then you come to the call icon and you click to call. Okay, as soon as you click to call, somebody is going to receive the call and they will then be able to answer that call. As soon as they answer the call, this was a video call actually, and I started my video. Remember, the only person that has to, start the video is you. If another person doesn't want to start their video, it's up to them. So you could be in a video call and they will not, okay? It's up to, sometimes when you have large conference calls, people want to put on their video and they want to be seen. Sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's not, but just be aware that you do not have to start your video if you do not want to. Whenever you get a call, either it's a regular a Skype conference call or a regular Skype call, you get a picture of the person who's calling you, if they have a picture, and all you have to do is click in the picture here. If you don't want to answer it, you can just click ignore and the call will disappear and go away. Okay, call window controls. I really don't have to go over these call window controls because they're the same call window controls that you have in a Skype meeting. The only difference is when you click to hang up here, this actually hangs up the call because you're not in a meeting. It's just a call. So that's why you have the hang up button here. That will actually end the call. You will not be allowed to rejoin the call. It will just end that call for you, and you'd have to call that person back. But basically, you have all this other same icons that you have here. And if you're talking with somebody and you want to add somebody else into that call, you just click this little icon up here, and it comes up with the list of people in your organization, and then you can add them to the call, and then it becomes a conference call. So lots of different ways to have a conference call, doing a meet now, scheduling it, or just having a one-to-one call and then going into a conference call. When you click away from this larger window, it becomes a minimized call window, and it just it stays as a minimized call window until you, again, go back to your taskbar, and then you'll see the larger window, and then basically it would pop up. Okay, moving right along, let's look at our training topics for integration with Outlook and Office 365. So within Outlook, email addresses contain Skype contact information. So if I click on Outlook, I go to Mail, and I go to this message here. This is a message from somebody outside the organization. However, even though, you know, this is an older email, I see that Rebecca is part of this email, and I see her presence right away, just as if I was looking at Rebecca on her Skype client. Melody is not part of this organization. I am, and so is Sheila. So if I wanted to contact anybody here, basically I see their information, and I can actually, you know, click here. It has here send an IM, I can call, I can start a video call, or I can send an email message. There's other options that you have here to open up a contact card, and basically this is the contact card of Rebecca in your organization. Okay, so again, from Outlook, I don't have to be in using a Skype client. I could be working in Outlook and I want to contact somebody because the email pertains to them, or I just want to contact them. I can just IM them right here because I'll see their contact information, same information that I have in the Skype client. Okay, I can create a group email from a Skype group, which is what we did before. We created a group IM from a Skype group. Same process, you right click on the Skype group, and there's an option there to email that group. Same methodology in terms of selecting people from different groups. You select them from different groups, you right click, and then there's an option to email them as well. We looked at this. Skype conference calls are all scheduled in Outlook. We know that. The Outlook conversation history folder. So if I come back to Outlook here, I have a conversation history folder, and this is the exact same conversation history folder that I have in my client. Okay, has the same exact information here as it does here. I like to use if I'm looking for something in conversation history, I definitely like to look at Outlook because it's easier to work with Outlook in terms of finding information here and looking at the IMs that I've had. And basically, if somebody has put information in one of these IMs, and I can find it in conversation history folder by searching for it in the search bar in Outlook. So again, it's really very convenient if you have somebody has IM'd you something a week or two ago and you want to find something, you can find it right here in Outlook. The Outlook search folder also contains Skype history of call logs, missed calls, and missed conversations. So again, if I come back to my folders here, I have search folders, and I have missed calls and missed conversations. I don't have any of these right now, but let me just say, if you are in do not disturb mode and somebody decides to IM you, you will not get that IM unless you're in their work group, but it will be rejected. However, it will get sent to you as an email, and it will be a missed conversation. It will first come in your inbox, and then it will be moved to, you don't have to do anything, to missed conversations. So just be aware that you're never away from somebody, even though they are in do not disturb mode. If you want to send them something that you want them to get later, I don't know why you wouldn't want to send them an email, but if you sent them an IM, this is where it would wind up as a missed conversation. Reply with meeting. Okay, so you can, if you want to, you have an email, okay, and let me come back here to my inbox. I'll come back to this email message, and let's say this is something that I really want to discuss with all the participants here. So I want to create a meeting, and I want to create a Skype conference call meeting to discuss this email. I can come up to the top here, and if I hover over this top, it says reply with meeting, and this creates a meeting request from this email. So I click reply with meeting, comes up and it says appointment, but I want this to be a Skype meeting, so I click Skype meeting, and now it populates with the URL, with the phone number, with a specific conference ID. I can create a time, and it fills in the next available time for me, 3:30 to 4. It takes the topic of the email and puts it in the subject, takes all the participants and populates that, and also takes the entire email and makes it part of this meeting, the entire thread. So again, it's something that you may or may never, want to do, but you have the ability from an email to reply to everybody and create a Skype for Business meeting. I'm going to end this here and say I'm not going to save any changes. Okay. Outlook distribution lists can be added as a Skype group. So if I had the name of a distribution group, which I don't have here, I go to contacts, I just type in the name of distribution group, and when it comes up, I just right click and it becomes added as a group. I can't delete anybody in that group because I didn't create that group, but I can add that distribution group to my Skype contacts. And lastly, the Outlook out of office message appears in the Skype client, and it appears here, and it replaces my personal message with my out of office message from Outlook. Okay, so again, this is just what I had gone over. It's a summary. Skype Outlook contains options for a Skype group. Okay, so if I have a group here, I can do all of these different functions. I can create a group email. If I have the group here, it then creates the group email with everybody who's in this group. And went through the conversation history folder and the search folder. Reply with meeting. Okay, so we've gone through that. Lastly, I'd just like to look at how Office 365 and using Skype for Business are also integrated. So as you know, everybody is part of Office 365. You can log into Office 365 from wherever you are, and you have the ability to have all of the applications come here. Okay, and here's Office 365. Okay, and I have all of the different applications that I have. I've signed in, shows me my name up here, and I have the ability now to go into my calendar, to go to my mail, to Excel, PowerPoint, etc. So Skype for Office 365 is really terrific, especially if you wanted to use OneDrive along with this and store all your files in OneDrive. It's really, that's a whole other training session and topic, but basically I find it really extraordinarily useful whenever you want to have files on get access to files on different devices and compute information with different, wherever you are, in terms of being able to use, different devices to get access to all of your information. But here, let's say I come to Mail, and it's going to open up Outlook. And here it's the same information that I have in my Outlook on the desktop. But notice here, I have the symbol for Skype. Okay, this is the Superman S for Skype. And here I have all of my contacts. So I don't have to be on a desktop, which has my client. I could be using Office 365. And if I want to be able to, contact or find somebody, I can do that here as well. Okay, I can contact them. I see that Jonathan is busy, but basically I would be able to, let me come back to, okay. Here we go. Come back and I could start a new chat if I wanted to, and basically communicate with this person from Office 365. So again, you're not limited to your desktop. You have the ability of using Skype from wherever you are in whatever mode that you're in. Okay. That basically ends my presentation. We've gone through a tremendous amount of information. We have some time left. We have about 15, 20 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like me to, answer or go over anything in terms of this presentation?
I always kind of at the end say, I know this was a lot of information to absorb. Sal's mentioned earlier that we're going to send out the presentation so you'll have the PowerPoint and can reference that in the future if you want to on specific tasks and specific functions. But a couple of things to pay very close attention to is especially the RTP office. If you're going to be using the boardroom, how you're going to pop out the video on one screen and be able to share on the other. He shared that about halfway through, a little more than halfway through. That's a really important task for us to know how to use that. Understanding how the phone works so that we can instruct the people who are joining us on calls that Skype can either call them, they can call in, or we can use their computer. Everybody has one of those, they're called the PSTN lines, so that's built into everybody's subscription with Office 365. So everyone has their own line and the unique conference code that comes up with that with every meeting they set. So those are a couple things that I know organizationally we planned on using, so I want to make sure that everybody's aware of those items. Anyone on the phone want Saul to revisit any specific functionality? Maybe you just didn't quite catch on fast enough, or you'd like him to review it because you had a question and just couldn't quite get off the mute button for fast enough.
Well, I want to thank everybody for attending. My parting words are really to create a group of some of your colleagues and have a group of, let's say, 2 or 3 people at least, and work with this with them to practice. It's really important that you actually use it and go through the different, you know, icons and the different steps of clicking to make sure that you feel comfortable using the system. It's not difficult, it's just, and it is intuitive, but basically you just have to use it to feel more comfortable with it. It is a new system, and it may take some getting used to learning it, but once you start working with it, I think that you'll find that it's really terrific. It's really great. You know, I know that this has been a tremendous amount of information, and honestly, you have to go back and go through it on your own time, but definitely spend the time to work through this and make sure that you know what to do. And if you don't, then ask somebody, you know, in your organization how you perform this task. And once you do that, once you learn that, I think that you'll really love the system. No questions. Was this valuable? Did people learn something? I'd like some feedback from somebody. Anybody? You can put it in the chat window.
I found they're a quiet group.
I'm telling you.
Surprising.
Okay, we have quiet people.
Jackson, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey, I've used Skype a number of times in the past, but I mean, this is certainly very helpful. A lot of additional information, certainly some additional functionality, which goes well beyond what I've done in the past, and so certainly very helpful. Obviously, it's just a function of leveraging it and you know, getting a bit more acclimated to it. But I really appreciate it. Obviously, very knowledgeable, so appreciate that very much.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it.
I know the tip that I learned that I announced in a couple of the other sessions was the hanging up button. I don't know if you covered it because I wasn't on the entire time, but you can actually connect two other people together, hang up your portion of the call, and they stay connected. And I thought that was great to know that you could actually use this to connect others and then excuse yourself from the meeting. That was a great tidbit for me.
Yes, we did go over that. I showed.
Yeah, that's a great tidbit to know.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times you just, you know, if you're the organizer, you want to organize for certain people, but then you don't want to stay on because you have other tasks to do. But then you could always rejoin if you want to.
Right.
So
I think that's a great little nugget to have. I thought that was very helpful for me.
Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure working with your organization, and you know, if you need anything else, we'll definitely help you out.
Right. Thanks so much for your participation, everyone. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, and stay cool.
Thanks.